Welcome back for another 20 Strong Rules overview. In this video, I'm going to be going over the setup and rules for the Too Many Bones deck. I will not be covering the base rules of 20 Strong in this video. If you'd like to learn the base rules of 20 Strong, please watch the previous video in this series, How to Play 20 Strong Base Rules. In Too Many Bones, you'll be taking on the role of a Gearlock traveling through Daylore on a quest to defeat one of 4 tyrants, battling a variety of baddies along the way. To play 20 Strong Too Many Bones, you'll need all of your base game 20 Strong components, as well as the Too Many Bones deck. To begin, you'll choose a tyrant that you'd like to face. Place the tyrant you have chosen nearby with the gear side face up. Next, you'll choose a Gearlock that you'd like to play as. Place the Gearlock you have chosen nearby with its innate side face up. Set your stat dice to match your Gearlock's starting stats. Set aside all remaining tyrants and Gearlocks. Next, you're going to prepare your stacks. First, gather your 1 and 5 point enemies. Shuffle them separately and place them face up next to one another. Now gather all 8 Tyrant Encounters and remove 4 at random. The removed Tyrant Encounters can be returned to the box and will not be necessary for this game. Next, you're going to prepare your Encounter stack. Take your remaining Tyrant Encounters and add them to a pile with all of your Mohlnor Encounters and Lockpick Encounters. Shuffle this pile thoroughly and place it near the rest. And it wouldn't be too many bones without a day counter. Grab your chip and chip holder and set the dial to 0. Before we jump into gameplay, let's talk about your Gearlock. All Gearlocks are double-sided. They have an innate side and an innate +1 side. Gearlocks start on their innate side and once per game can flip to their innate +1 side by filling up and exhausting their backup plan. When a Gearlock flips to their innate +1 side, they immediately receive a stat boost to their strategy and recovery. Most Gearlocks will also receive an upgraded innate and/or backup plan ability. If you're new to Too Many Bones, you may be asking yourself, what is a backup plan? A backup plan is a unique way that Gearlocks are able to utilize the misses that they roll in combat. Each Gearlock has 4 backup plan slots, one for each color die with a miss face on it. In the apply dice step of an engagement, you may slot 1 or more dice showing misses into their corresponding backup plan slots. Dice cannot be placed in a slot that doesn't match their color, and you can't place more than 1 die of a single color. Backup plan abilities can be used at any time unless specific timing is required. To activate the ability, you must simply exhaust any die from a backup plan slot. You can do this multiple times, but you need to exhaust a die for each backup plan activation. Some rewards will grant you a backup plan extension. These are abilities that can be activated by exhausting the indicated number of dice from your backup plan. Dice in your backup plan are not considered to be committed, applied, or in the active area. They can only be removed from the backup plan by exhausting them to activate a backup plan or to flip to your innate +1 side. Here's a few new terms for the Too Many Bones deck that you'll want to get to know. Day. Rounds in the 20 Strong Too Many Bones deck are referred to as days. Baddie. Enemies in the 20 Strong Too Many Bones deck are referred to as baddies. Battle. A battle contains the engagement part of the day. A battle may consist of multiple engagements in the same day. Face Up. Some cards will refer to Face Up baddies. This includes all undefeated baddies in the active area, as well as baddies on top of stacks. To begin your game of 20 Strong Too Many Bones, you'll first move to Activation. In this phase, you will increase the day counter by 1, then decide whether to have a standard battle or an encounter. If you choose to engage in a standard battle, you will activate baddie points equal to your current day, using the smallest number of cards possible. For example, on day 4, you would activate 4 1-point enemies, while on day 8, you would activate 1 5-point enemy and 3 1-point enemies. Once enemies have been activated, the battle begins. If you would like to learn all of the rules of engagement, I encourage you to check out the first video in this series. Here I'll just be addressing the changes to a standard engagement. The biggest change to note is that you must defeat all of the active baddies. During the cleanup step, you will not discard undefeated baddies. If undefeated baddies remain at the end of an engagement, you must repeat engagement. This is considered a new engagement within the same battle. Hits cannot build up on a baddie across different engagements in the same battle. These dice are still exhausted during the exhaust dice step. Instead of choosing a standard battle for your daily activity, you may instead choose to activate the top encounter from the stacks. Encounters come in 3 flavors that I'll go over here. First, and most importantly, are Tyrant Encounters. These encounters will always result in a battle with an escalated challenge. When selected, place the encounter beside your active area and activate the baddie queue. Then proceed to battle as normal. If successful, discard the Tyrant Encounter. Next are Mohlnor Encounters. These encounters will always offer a peaceful option and a combat option with an added 1-point baddie. If you select the peaceful option, follow the text. Skip engagement and discard the encounter. You can only select the peaceful option if you are able to fulfill it in its entirety. If the battle option is selected, discard the encounter, activate the baddie queue, add an additional 1-point enemy, and proceed to battle. And finally, Lockpicking Encounters. These encounters can only be selected if you have an available inventory slot. When you select a lockpicking encounter, place it in your inventory and skip engagement completely. Lockpicking cards take up an item slot and cannot be discarded or used until unlocked. To unlock one of these encounters, you'll need to apply hits or crits of the corresponding colors to them during battle. During the exhaust dice step, do not exhaust dice on lockpicking cards. In the gain item reward step, if a lockpicking card has the required hits on it, it is unlocked. Return the dice applied to it to your dice pool rather than exhausting them, and flip the encounter over so only the reward is showing. You are now free to use or discard your reward. After engagement comes cleanup. After discarding cards in cleanup, if all baddies are defeated, you may either rest or scout. If you choose to rest, tick up your health by 1. If you choose to scout, select the top card of the 1-point, 5-point, or encounter stack and move it still face up above the stack to create a new stack. If there is already a card there, place the newly scouted card on top of it. The top card from either stack is now available for activation. Use this to your advantage to break up potential enemy combos or to try and dig your way towards those elusive Tyrant Encounters. This can also create enemy combos with enemies that care about face-up enemies. If the bottom stack ever runs out, immediately shuffle the top stack and place it back where the bottom stack was. If no battle takes place, the entire engagement, including cleanup, is skipped, and therefore you cannot choose to rest or scout.
Endgame.
In activation, if your day counter meets or exceeds the minimum days on the Tyrant card, you may choose to face the Tyrant instead of choosing an encounter or standard battle. To face the Tyrant, place the Tyrant card in the active area. Carry out its setup instructions found on the front of the card, then flip the card to the other side, which details the Tyrant's effects. The difficulty of this final battle is determined by how many Tyrant encounters that you are able to face and clear from the encounter deck before challenging the Tyrant. Endgame proceeds as outlined in the base rules until either you or all of your enemies run out of health. If you're able to successfully defeat the Tyrant and all baddies, congratulations, you've won. But that's not all. Just like the Solar Sentinels deck, we have a ranking system if you'd like to increase the challenge. By winning the game, you've achieved rank 1 and you're 1 prepared Gearlock. Now for each rank beyond 1 during setup, simply add 1 additional Tyrant encounter and either banish 1 die or exhaust 3 dice. You'll be legendary before you know it. Now you may be asking yourself, how do I bring my Universal Hero in? They'll have a disadvantage with no backup plan. Well, we've got you covered with the Universal Backup Plan, which is double-sided. Select a side during setup with your Universal Hero. They will not be able to achieve an A+1, but they will still have a backup plan. And there you have it. That's how you play the Too Many Bones deck. Let us know how you're doing in the rankings and make sure to check out the rest of the How to Play videos in this series, so you'll know how to become the 20 strongest 20 strong player around. Thanks for watching and stay strong.